Let's start not with their first song, but with their first major scandal, a controversy so intense it threatened to end their career before it even truly began. Just months after their successful debut in 2015, Twice's youngest member, Tsuyu, then only 16 years old, was caught in a political firestorm that had nothing to do with music. During a casual broadcast, she was seen waving the flag of the Republic of China, Taiwan. For a Taiwanese-born idol, this seemed like a simple gesture of hometown pride. But in the hypersensitive landscape of cross-strait relations between China and Taiwan, this single act ignited a geopolitical inferno. Chinese netizens flooded social media, labeling Tsuyu and by extension Twice as supporters of Taiwanese independence, a stance vehemently opposed by the Chinese government. The backlash wasn't just online anger, it was a tangible commercial threat. Chinese companies began pulling endorsement deals, and Twice's content was reportedly blocked on several major Chinese platforms. The pressure mounted to an unbearable degree, forcing JP Entertainment into a crisis management move that would haunt them for years. The agency released a painfully scripted video where a visibly distressed and crying Tsuyu read a formal apology, stating, "There is only one China. I am proud of being Chinese." The video felt brutally orchestrated, and it sparked outrage on the other side of the strait, in Taiwan and among international fans, who saw a teenage girl being used as a political pawn. This wasn't about a music video view count. This was Twice's first real taste of how quickly idol life could spiral into an international incident, where a teenager's wave could trigger diplomatic panic and corporate capitulation. As the group tried to recover from that seismic shock, the very foundation of their formation came under a microscope, leading to whispers and accusations that would follow one member for her entire career. The story of Momo's elimination and subsequent last-minute addition during the survival show 16 was always framed as a dramatic twist of fate. JYP founder Park Jin-young famously stated he brought her back because the group needed a dancer of her caliber. But for years, a persistent rumor swirled in the darker corners of K-pop forums and chat rooms. The speculation, entirely unverified and never proven, suggested that Momo's wealthy family background or powerful connections played a role in her surprise salvation. Netizens would point to the seeming arbitrariness of the decision, contrasting it with other talented trainees who were cut. This narrative, though baseless in terms of evidence, created a subtle, lingering shadow of privilege over Momo's undeniable talent. It became a classic K-pop conspiracy, the idea that the system could be manipulated, that the fair competition shown on TV might have unseen strings being pulled. This rumor forced fans to defend Momo's place relentlessly, not just against antis, but against a pervasive doubt that questioned whether her spot was earned purely through skill or if there was more to the story. It was a controversy built on whispers, but in an industry where perception is everything, those whispers could be as damaging as a headline. Just as the group was finding its record-breaking stride with hits like Cheer Up and TT, another type of controversy emerged, one fueled by the relentless pressure of idol life and the cruel scrutiny of the public eye. In 2017, during a particularly grueling period of promotions, member Jonghyun began to visibly lose weight. While some fans expressed concern, a segment of the online community and alarmingly some media outlets praised her changing appearance. This created a toxic feedback loop. Then, during a live broadcast, she was seen with what appeared to be bandages on her wrists. The internet exploded with worry and speculation about self-harm and extreme dieting. JYP was forced to issue a statement clarifying the bandages were for a minor injury sustained during choreography practice, not for anything more sinister. But the damage to the narrative was done. The incident ripped open a conversation about the intense physical and mental demands placed on female idols, especially in a group like Twice, which was constantly in the public eye. Every comeback, every performance was dissected. Was Jonghyun too thin? Did Mina look tired? Was Sana's smile not as bright? The members' mental health became a topic of public debate, culminating in 2019 when Mina publicly stepped back from activities due to extreme anxiety. This wasn't a scandal of misbehavior, but a controversy of well-being. It forced fans and the industry to confront a harsh truth. The bright, bubbly image projected on screen often masked immense personal struggle, and the pursuit of perfection came at a human cost that Twice was no longer willing to hide. The conversation around mental health deepened into a more systemic critique with the arrival of the song Feel Special in 2019. While the song was hailed as a heartfelt tribute to fans, a darker, more analytical reading emerged online. Critics and fans alike began to connect the lyrics about feeling lost, empty, and only finding worth through a specific person's gaze to the potential downsides of idol-fan relationships. Some argued the song, however beautiful, romanticized a dependency that could be unhealthy, mirroring the very system that may have contributed to the members' anxieties. The controversy wasn't about the song's quality, but about its subtext. Was Twice, perhaps unintentionally, reinforcing a dynamic where idols derive their entire sense of purpose from their fans' approval? This analysis dovetailed with growing scrutiny over JYP Entertainment's famed idol contract, often referred to as the moral clause. Leaked details and reports from insiders suggested these clauses were excessively strict, governing everything from dating and public behavior to weight management and social media use. The controversy shifted from the members themselves to the machinery behind them. Were the pressures that led to anxiety episodes built into the corporate structure? Netizens and industry commentators began to piece together a picture of Twice not just as artists, but as products of a rigorous system that demanded constant, flawless performance, making their resilience seem not just impressive, but also a little alarming. The group's success was now being framed within a debate about ethical management and the price of fame. No discussion of Twice controversies is complete without the relentless, invasive scrutiny of their personal lives, particularly regarding dating. The industry's so-called dating ban, often an unofficial but strictly enforced rule for young idols, hung over them. In 2019, rumors linked member Mina, who was on hiatus for anxiety, to a non-celebrity. Instead of concern for her health, tabloids and online communities lit up with speculation about her private life, adding another layer of stress to her situation. But the most seismic event came in 2021, when member Jihyo and actor Kang Daniel were revealed to be dating. On the surface, this was a normal relationship between two consenting adults. However, Kang Daniel was a former JYP trainee and a superstar in his own right, and the reveal came via a dispatch report complete with photos. The fan reaction was a complex storm. While many were supportive, a vocal, toxic minority of so-called fans from both sides unleashed a wave of hate. Jihyo was accused of betrayal, of not focusing on the group, and of poor timing with group promotions. The controversy highlighted the deeply entrenched, possessive nature of a subsection of K-pop fan culture. Idols, especially female idols in a group like Twice who cultivated a girlfriend-adjacent image, were often seen as belonging to the fans. A public relationship was viewed by some as a breach of an imaginary contract. This incident forced a painful public reckoning within the Twice fandom, once, about what it truly meant to support the members as human beings versus as fantasy objects. It was a controversy that tested the maturity of the fan base and the agency's ability to protect its artists from public shaming for living normal lives. As Twice approached their critical 7-year contract renewal in 2022, the biggest controversy of all loomed: the very real possibility of disbandment. For months, the industry was rife with speculation. Analysts pointed to the members' individual growth, potential solo ambitions, and the sheer exhaustion from a non-stop 7-year schedule. Rumors swirled on online communities like Pan and Nate, with insiders claiming certain members were unhappy or had received lucrative offers from rival agencies. The tension was palpable. Every member's solo activity, from Nayeon's solo debut to Chaeyoung's artistic pursuits, was dissected for clues about their willingness to stay. The controversy was a passive, anxious one, played out in comment sections and forum posts. It questioned the fundamental sustainability of the group model in modern K-pop. Could a bond formed under the intense pressure of a survival show and a decade of shared trauma and triumph survive the cold hard logic of the entertainment business? When JP finally announced that all 9 members had renewed, the shockwave was positive, but it ended a period of intense uncertainty that revealed just how fragile even the most successful groups are perceived to be. This controversy was about defying a brutal industry norm, and their renewal was itself a shocking act that went against common expectations. Even after renewal, the challenges evolved. As fourth-generation groups like IVE and New Jeans dominated charts with different sounds, Twice faced a new type of controversy: the narrative of irrelevance. With each comeback, like Scientist or Talk That Talk, a segment of critics and netizens would question if their music was still chart-friendly, if their concept had run its course. The controversy was no longer about scandals, but about legacy and staying power in a fast-paced industry obsessed with the new. Every music show win they secured against younger groups was framed as a battle between generations. Their record-breaking 2023 Ready to Be World Tour, where they sold out stadiums like SoFi, was a massive commercial triumph. Yet online, debates raged. Some argued it proved their timeless global appeal, while others, often fans of rival groups, dismissed it as a victory driven by a dedicated, older fandom rather than genuine mainstream impact. This perpetual scrutiny, where breaking a record could be spun as a last hurrah rather than a new peak, became the subtle, enduring controversy of their later years. It was a pressure to constantly prove that a decade-old group still mattered in an industry that often treats idols as disposable. From a political firestorm to mental health debates, from dating backlash to existential threats of disbandment, Twice's journey has been a masterclass in navigating controversy. Their story isn't just one of musical hits, but of surviving a decade of relentless pressure, public dissection, and industry pitfalls, emerging each time not just intact, but seemingly more united.